Hi everyone, welcome to StudioJake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Be sure to like this video because we're going to be talking about the DC Extended Universe or the DC Shared Universe or whatever the film franchise for the DC Comics that Warner Bros. Has. So, like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that little bell because we all know subscribing is only half of the battle. Now, if you hear any random yells in the background, I apologize in advance. My neighbors are having a pool party and they are being obnoxiously loud. So, sorry about that. Anyway, without further ado, welcome to StudioJake. Okay, so I just rented Justice League from the Xbox. Yes, I did it in Blu-ray. And I thought, well, because y'all read my review on my blog, and I know I talked about it here. I did a fan theory video where I said that the person at the end of trailer, I think it was trailer 2, where Alfred says, "He said you'll come. Let's hope you're not too late." People were saying who it was. Some people were saying it was Green Lantern. I thought it was Shazam, but I was wrong. It was Superman. Because Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon don't have any imagination, apparently, but neither here nor there. I kid. Not really. But where is the DCEU going? Because it seems to be a little bit in chaos since Justice League. I mean, we had Man of Steel, which was an okay movie, but a little uninspiring. We had Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, which gave us a bizarro Batman. You know, they were trying to take elements of Frank Miller's Millerverse Batman, you know, from Year One, Batman and Robin, The Boy Wonder, The Dark Knight Returns. They were trying to take him and combine him with Batman from the Arkham games, you know, more brutal, more serious type, older Batman for some reason, because we can't see Batman in his prime anymore. I don't know. So, and then they did Suicide Squad, which I actually enjoyed. I just took it as a 2-hour toy commercial. It was still a lot of fun, but it really didn't have any meaning. It was just kind of like a Fast and Furious movie. So then we get to Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was fantastic, and we thought, finally, we're getting this series back on track. And then Justice League happens. So, again, you can go to my blog, jacoberry.blog, and you can read my review of it. And I watched it again because I thought, well, maybe if I watch it a second time, I'll appreciate it more. No. I still thought exactly the same thing. It was an okay movie. Now, I think it's funny because on Twitter, a war has started between the Joss Whedon fans and the Zack Snyder fans. Now, Zack Snyder, I don't know why they gave him a third chance, but apparently third strike, you're out. Because he kind of took elements of Superman that were good, but then he made him where he kind of had this Messiah complex, and it didn't really make a whole lot of sense to Superman's representation. Now, I get it. You want to get away from the Christopher Reeves Superman. You want to kind of get away from Dean Cain, which Dean Cain was great which Christopher Reeves was great as the 80s Superman. Dean Cain was amazing as the 90s Superman. Brandon Roth was terrible as the early 2000s Superman from Superman Returns. So I get why you wanted to move away from this, because Superman Returns was a terrible movie. I mean, it's one of the worst superheroes ever made, right after X-Men 3 and Logan. So, or the original Daredevil with Ben Affleck. So, what Justice League, some of the problems they had was they miscast a lot of these characters because Zack Snyder likes to take risks. But the only movie his risk really paid off on was 300. And Watchmen, which Watchmen had a great cast, but again, it wasn't really that good of a superhero movie. I don't know why Warner Bros. Or DC Entertainment thought that Zack Snyder could handle this project. He just couldn't. And I get maybe you wanted to give a director with some fresh vision and whatnot, but that just isn't who Zack Snyder is. He's not a fresh vision kind of guy. He's a great visual director. The fight scenes in his movies are incredible. Like the fight scenes between Ozymandias and Comedian, it's one of the best. And when Silk Spectre 2 and Owlman 2 invade the prison to rescue Rorschach, that's one of the best scenes in The Watchmen. Of course, 300, a little too gory for my taste, but I still liked it as a movie. Incredible fight scenes, incredible battle scenes. But as a storyteller, everything is nihilistic. And I get that there's people out there who likes this whole, life has no meaning to it, and I just want to die and cry because life sucks. And the whole point of the superhero genre in general is to bring hope. So they kind of do that in Batman vs. Superman, but not really. Wonder Woman is the only one who brings hope. So we're this Justice League. Zack Snyder directs it. The executives at Warner Bros. Watch it, and apparently, now originally they had said that Zack Snyder left the project in post because of the tragic death of a family member, but honestly, later it found out that he was viciously fired, and because apparently the execs at Warner Bros. Watched Justice League and thought, this is awful. So then they call in Joss Whedon, who was originally supposed to direct Batgirl. They beg him, basically, to fix this movie. And I'm more of a Joss Whedon fan. I like his films. You know, I'm a child of the 90s. I like Joss Whedon way better as a storyteller. So he comes in, he recalls the cast for shoots. He expands Cyborg's role in the film, apparently, and brings it all together. But then all he is able to do is patch it up, because it was originally supposed to be 2 parts. He patches it up and makes it a conclusive story. The problem with this is, at first, the opening week was really successful. So then DC announces a whole slew of projects, right? Wonder Woman 2, Cyborg, Aquaman. Some of these were planned, no doubt, when Wonder Woman was a success, but still, they're announcing a Joker solo movie because they're idiots. A Suicide Squad 2 movie. All this stuff is spiraling out of Warner Brothers. They want to pump out movies to try to catch up with Marvel. Then week 2 of Justice League happens, and it all kind of starts to fall apart. So then Joss Whedon kind of gets the blame, even though Zack Snyder did a terrible job. And so the Joss Whedon fans, they're like, like me, we're like defending Joss Whedon. No, he just saved the movie because Zack Snyder did such a terrible job. And then the Zack Snyder fans are going, we want the director's cut, which is apparently a totally different movie. So the question is, where do we go from the horribleness that was the Justice League? All right, so we go to some of the projects that have been announced. So we have Aquaman. Now, Aquaman starts filming almost during Justice League. I mean, it starts filming almost right away. Some of the other projects I think I just mentioned before, but also, you know, I almost forgot Man of Steel 2. Ben Affleck was supposed to direct a Batman movie. Now again, some of these projects were announced before Justice League because Batman vs. Superman had such a good opening, and it kind of carried in because people were curious. Batman and Superman, outside of animation, had never been in a film together. I mean, not really. And so we're like, where do we go from here? Now, we get to the blowback from Justice League, and all of a sudden projects are being canceled. Cyborg is thrown out. Suicide Squad 2 is kind of moving forward. For some reason, they want to give Deathstroke a solo movie. So DC decides that they're going to kind of go the opposite direction that Marvel's going. So instead of all these solo characters that kind of make up a single narrative that's going to culminate in Infinity War, the DCEU or DCSU, depending on who you talk to. I'm going to just, for this video's sake, I'm going to call it DC Extended Universe. They just decide that they're just going to spin off from Justice League. So, and I know this because the Justice League sequel is completely canceled. We haven't heard a peep about it. So they're just going to go after all their properties. It's going to be kind of one of those things where they're going to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. So Aquaman is moving forward. I think they're in post now. Shazam is moving forward. Now, actually, they had wanted to delay Shazam because originally Black Adam was the villain, but then they decided that since they casted The Rock and there was some good feedback from that, they're not. I believe that Black Adam is just going to have a cameo in Shazam, and the main villain is going to be Dr. Sivana, which I think is a good choice. It's going to be a little bit different than other Shazam properties, so they kind of wanted to delay Shazam and just go forward with Aquaman and see what happens there, which Jason Momoa was one of the good things of Justice League, so I think he deserves his own solo movie. He did a good job. And also, I'll get to that in a minute, but they were going to delay Shazam, and Zachary Levi, rumor has it, put his foot down and says, no, this property is going to go forward. And the director's been kind of iffy if it's in the main movie universe. So one of the movies that has been most talked about is Flashpoint. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Flashpoint is the story where Flash goes back in time. This happens after Final Crisis, which all the Crisis are DC Comics rebooting. Flashpoint is another one of these. Flash goes back in time to try to save his mother from being murdered. He succeeds, but he causes a butterfly effect in a world causes a world that's on the brink of Armageddon. And one of the keys to this is Batman is Thomas Wayne because Bruce Wayne is murdered instead of his parents. And so his father becomes Batman and his mother becomes the Joker. So Flash goes back to stop himself from saving his mother in one of the most heartbreaking and hard to read moments in the comic book history. And then that's where we get the New 52. No one liked the New 52, so then we got Convergence, which was where Brainiac was trying to merge all the multiverses together. And that's how we got the DC Rebirth, which is now known as the DC Universe. So, they were going to do this, and the rumor was that Flashpoint was going to reset the DCEU, kind of like X-Men Days of Future Past did for the X-Men movie franchise. So they've got Ezra Levant, who played Barry Allen in aka the Flash. They got him back. They're going to go forward with the story, and the rumor was, because at the end of the Flashpoint story, Flash goes to see Batman, and Batman is now in his new 52 outfit, which is the gray one with the giant bat. Because prior to that, it was the bat symbol, the yellow one. I believe either that or the Jim Lee one that just had the small bat. So he goes to see Batman. Now, the rumor was that that was going to be a post-credit scene, and they were going to reveal who the new cast of Batman was because they fired Ben Affleck because everyone, especially Justice League, there was such a bad backlash. So they were going to go forward with this. Wonder Woman 2, Aquaman, Shazam is still moving forward. So was Batgirl. So was Suicide Squad 2. And a couple of other properties. Though then they fired Joss Whedon from Batgirl. Again, because probably the backlash from Justice League. So this throws everything out of whack because of this. Suicide Squad gets slowed down. They had a Nightwing movie plan. They had hired a director. That director gets fired. Ben Affleck gets fired from being the director of The Batman, was what the movie was supposed to be called, and was going to have him square off against Deathstroke. Which I don't know why everyone's making a big deal of Deathstroke. He wasn't really a Batman villain. He was a Teen Titan villain. He was, originally he was kind of a lower score, but I think his appearance in the Teen Titans animated series, his appearance in Young Justice, and then in the Batman Arkham Origins game, I think that kind of propelled him a little bit. Just that kept oofing him, and got him a promotion. So all this is going out, but this fallout from Justice League is still happening. So as of right now, the only projects that seem to be in full capacity are Wonder Woman 2, which had a bunch of casting announces. Recently hasn't started filming, but they've announced the cast. They casted a former SNL actress to play Cheetah for some reason. Probably it's the same girl. I think her name is Kristen. Was it Kristen Wiig? Not Kristen Wiig. I can't remember her name, but she was in that horrible Ghostbusters remake. So they're probably trying to save her career a little bit. So she's going to be cast as Cheetah. Aquaman is wrapping up, and so is Shazam. So everyone's wondering, with all this happening, uh, where do we go? There's all this chaos. It's nothing but chaos in the DCEU. Now, I have a few suggestions on how the DCEU can save itself, and you'll have to let me know what you think about those in the comments below. All right, so where do we go from here? I've asked this question 3 times now. I've talked about the chaos, Warner Brothers. Now, Warner Brothers, if you're listening, I am a fan. Now, I have to admit, I'm more of a Marvel fan, but you have successfully created the greatest comic book character of all time. That would be Batman. As you can see, I have homage to Batman everywhere. I've got the tin, I've got the Batman comic book case, I've got the 100th edition Batman figure, I've got a little Batman, I don't know what these toys are called anymore. My wife got this for me as a present. I love her, she's amazing. And then I even have like freaking Batman playing cards. So listen to me when I tell you, I am a true believer, I'm a true fan. I know what I'm talking about. This is how you save your freaking movie franchise. Move Flashpoint forward. Move it forward. All these rumors about it not being a Flashpoint movie, no. Bring it to the forefront. Do that X-Men Days of Future Past thing where you mix it up. Do it. This is what you need to do. Instead, if you don't want to use Flash because you're worried that people won't go see it, here's how you fix it. Use Wonder Woman. You don't call it Flashpoint, you call it Justice League Convergence. You combine Convergence with Flashpoint, and this is how you do it. Use Brainiac, who's one of Superman's worst enemies, have him trick Wonder Woman. She goes back in time to try to save Steve Trevor. She succeeds, just like Flash does in Flashpoint, but her actions are what create the spiral. So, she is off married with Steve Trevor somewhere, and then something happens, and instead of the Amazons going to war with the Atlanteans, because of reasons, have the Amazons go to war with just humanity. And they don't understand why the women of the earth don't want to side with them. It would be great. So you can still do the whole thing. Thomas Wayne is Batman. Cyborg is basically Superman. And what you could do is you could even do the thing where Superman's isolated. So Wonder Woman has to get a ragtag group of superheroes together. She leads them into the final battle, and then the Amazons are shocked. She's alive, and she tries to stop the Amazons from sinking London into the ocean, which I know it was Atlantis in Flashpoint. So then Brainiac reveals himself to Wonder Woman, and he's the one behind this whole thing. And he knows about the multiverse. And he shows her images, and it can be images from other properties you want to use. And he says that he did this because he needs this prime universe, the extended universe, to be destroyed. And so instead of Barry Allen and having a final battle with the Reverse Flash or Professor Zoom or whatever he's called, have her duke it out with Brainiac, and even have to fight her own mother, because her mother thinks Diana has betrayed them. So they are doing battle, and then, like in Flashpoint, Superman arrives to save the day. He helps her, and of course, if you want to do the whole feminist thing, do it where he just shows up to distract Brainiac, and then she uses Brainiac's device, because Brainiac has stolen time travel devices in the comic books before. You can use all kinds of tropes. She uses it and goes back in time, and she's forced to allow herself to watch Steve Trevor pass away again. So this fixes everything, and then you can still do the reveal of whoever the casting of Batman is, Christian Bale. So then you can still move forward with your properties. This can spin them off again. You can do Cyborg, you can do a Flash movie, You can do a Batgirl movie. You can do Wonder Woman 2, all in this new universe. And I know you're probably thinking, well, X-Men kind of already did this at Fox. Look, Disney is about to frickin' buy Fox. Okay? Get your act together, Warner Brothers. Get your act together, DC Entertainment. If you want to save all your franchises, you need to start listening to your fans. That's what Marvel does right. See, you think you know better than your fans. That's why you keep recruiting. That's why you keep recruiting people like Zack Snyder. You think that we'll just go and go, oh, it's a wonderful piece of art. We're nerds. Okay? We are the ones who are dragging our wonderful wives and our wonderful girlfriends to see this. That's why you get ticket money. We just want it to be cool. We don't care about the artsy-fartsy stuff that creators like Zack Snyder throw in there. Patty Jenkins and Joss Whedon, who directed the original Avengers, and even Brad Singer, who has a bunch of personal problems. That's how they were able to create such a cohesive universe, and people after them are not doing a very good job. They knew how to balance that artistic endeavor with the nerd endeavor. They listened to their fans. And that's even why when they brought in Deadpool and made it rated R, they knew Deadpool's fans were rated R fans. You know, Logan, it wasn't made for the fans, okay? I know there's fans out there, oh, Logan is the greatest superhero ever, oh my gosh. No, those are faux fans. They're just saying that so they can be popular with the movie critics. Logan was a terrible comic book movie. If Jess Mangold wanted to make Blood Meridian or a bad remake of Pell Rider, he should have just done that. Anyway, where was I? I lost my train of thought. My point is, listen to your fans. Bring in... Disney is finding this out with their new Star Wars trilogy. Last Jedi, people went to see it because they were curious. And before that, The Force Awakens, people were excited about the nostalgia. And now they're shoving it in their faces. Old things are new and new things are old, and we hate the Jedi for some reason. We're going to put soy boys as the heroes. No one likes that, okay? And I guarantee you, they're going to ruin Solo. Now, they got Ron Howard, who they should have gotten to direct it to begin with. Not sure if he saved it. They got Gareth Edwards, who brought a good movie in Rogue One. And you need to do that, DC. You need to get your act together. Patty Jenkins realizes this. Christopher Nolan realized this when he did the Dark Knight trilogy. You have got to pay tribute to the fans, or they're going to stop supporting you. So listen to what I'm saying, Warner Brothers. Make the DCEU for the fans, because we're the ones who are dragging our families with us to see these things. Does that make any sense? I hope you're listening. All right, so that's my thoughts on how to fix the DCEU. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, @RealJacobAiry, Instagram, real.jacob.airy, Facebook is author Jacob Airy. Be sure to follow me for my political commentary on thedailywire.com. And, of course, find my blog. I compliment things here. I have a ton of top 10 lists for entertainment, pop culture, comic books, nerd stuff. And also I do a ton of movie reviews there. And, of course, follow me here at StudioJake. Hit that subscribe button. Ring that little bell. Like and share this video. Let your friends know about me. I'm relatively new at this, and so I know I'm still a little bit on a learning curve here. I've been doing this a year and a half, or actually a year and a quarter. It's kind of hard to believe. So thank you to all my fans who view my videos. You guys are amazing. So keep watching. I have new episodes every Saturday and a vlog on Wednesday. And I don't just cover a single topic. I cover all kinds of stuff because I'm not a cookie cutter clickbait YouTube channel. Thank you so much. See you next time right here on StudioJake.